Have you ever wondered if a single invention could truly change the world? I mean, completely redraw the map? Well, today, we're diving into the dawn of the nuclear age, a moment in history that did exactly that.
So, how did one weapon manage to redefine, well, everything? This story isn't just about ending a war. It's about changing the very idea of what war is, rewriting the rules of global power, and kicking off a new, and honestly, a much scarier chapter for all of humanity.
All right, so first up, let's talk about how this one invention completely shattered all the old rules of warfare.
Our story really kicks off in 1945. The world had been at war for 6 long, brutal years. Then, the use of atomic weapons on Japan brought World War II to a sudden, shocking end. But that ending, it was also a beginning. It was the dawn of what we now call the nuclear age.
And this is the part you really got to get: mass destruction. See, this wasn't just a bigger bomb. No way. This was a whole new category of weapon. The sheer scale of annihilation was so massive, so total, that it made the idea of a traditional war between major countries seem almost suicidal. The entire rule book for global conflict was just thrown out the window.
So what happens when one country suddenly has this kind of terrifying, world-altering power? Well, the global pecking order gets flipped on its head, instantly.
Think about the world before 1945. You had a bunch of great powers, right? Countries like Britain, France, Germany, Japan, the Soviet Union, all jostling for position. But after 1945, that whole complex picture got real simple, real fast. All of a sudden, there was just one nation that stood head and shoulders above everyone else, the world's very first superpower.
And this wasn't just some historical accident. The record is pretty clear on this. Having the bomb was a huge reason America became a superpower. It gave the U.S. a kind of power that no other nation on Earth could even begin to challenge. But, of course, a monopoly like that, it was never gonna last. And what happened next kicked off one of the most nail-biting rivalries in all of human history. For 4 years, just 4 short years, this number, 1, defined global politics. The United States was the only member of the nuclear club. It was a totally unique and, frankly, unstable moment in time, and it was about to end. And then, in August of 1949, the game changed completely. The Soviet Union detonated its own atomic bomb. That exclusive club of 1, it suddenly had a second member.
With that one explosion, the world we'd come to know for the next several decades was born. The Soviet Union, now also holding a weapon of mass destruction, cemented its status as a second superpower. The stage was now set for a massive global conflict.
The fallout from this was immediate and, let's be honest, pretty terrifying. With 2 rival superpowers holding the ultimate weapon, a frantic arms race just exploded onto the scene. Each side started building more and more powerful bombs, and a constant, nagging fear of a global nuclear war, one that could literally end civilization, settled over the world.
And all of this, it created a brand new reality for every single person on the planet.
We call this new reality the Cold War. And for almost 50 years, it wasn't just a political squabble between the US and the USSR. It was an era defined by the ever-present, terrifying threat that everything could end in a flash. The bomb was always there, looming in the background.
So when you boil it all down, the invention of this one weapon had 3 profound, world-changing consequences. First, it completely redefined war with the terrifying idea of mass destruction. Second, it totally upended the global balance of power and created the age of the superpower. And third, it kicked off a nuclear arms race that, still shapes the world we live in today.
Which really leaves us all with one big, lingering question, doesn't it? The nuclear age started with a blinding flash of light more than 75 years ago. The legacy of that moment and the weapons it created are very much still with us. The real question is, how does it all end?